And we're back. This is Elliot Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. Thank you for joining us here yet again on CCW TV, the Comic Culture Warrior video channel. We're now at the part that we call Last Rants, and we're going to get Last Rants all in one video today so that we don't run into the same issue that we did last time.
Even if it's 3 hours long.
Even if it's a 3-hour rant, and if YouTube will let me upload a video that long. As we said at the beginning of our session today, we had discussed, our previous Last Rants, we had discussed the trend or the problem with the $3.99 price point. Mm-hmm. Now, Jose and I have been saying on this show for the longest time that people aren't going to buy $3.99
Probably
books.
since the first episode.
Yeah. And we were called, we were kind of told we were dumb. We were told we were idiots. We were told we didn't know what we were talking about. Some folks said that it didn't matter what they priced comics because they wanted to get their fixes and they were going to buy it. That's what that was kind of the feedback we got.
So, well, I think the not the last rant, but the one before that was, didn't you call it "We Told You So"?
Yes, we told you so.
So this is kind of "We Fucking Told You So" Part 2.
Because wouldn't you know it? Comics aren't selling like they used to.
No,
not
and
at
we
all.
thought the August numbers were bad. Well, the September numbers just came out, and they are almost worse. Well, they are worse.
And looking at the September numbers, the only book, and
quick recap for the August numbers. The top 2 selling books of the month for August were Brightest Day, the 2 issues of Brightest Day. And I think the number 1 issue sold like 92,000. So in August, no book broke the 100 grand
no book
mark, let alone the 93 grand mark.
Right. And this month in September, Wolverine number 1, the relaunch with Jason Aaron, broke 100,000.
104,000. So that's a good sign, right?
Which is good. But here's my question: how many variant covers did that book have?
Well, it had 2. It had the regular cover, and then it had like one of these covers that retailers can order as many as they wanted to. Okay. And then they had like, I think, 2 or 3 variant incentive covers on top of that.
So you had the same book selling twice. Mm-hmm. And then you also had the incentive covers kind of padding your sales because people, it's a Wolverine number 1. You want to get that variant cover, and we've had that discussion before about the incentives, blah 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 blah. So that's 104. Now you jump down to number 2, Brightest Day number 9, sold even less than the previous month. Talking about 88,000. Brightest Day number 10. Less than that, 87,000. Follow that by Green Lantern 57 at 85,000. Batman and Robin, which is too bad because Batman and Robin is probably one of the better books. Yeah. Dropped the 82,000, and right at the out of that. Now that's the top 5. Then you have 6 and 7, 2 Avengers books, and these are the only 2 $3.99 books from Marvel.
No, 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. Take that back. I thought those were the only.
No,
Marvel.
It's 4
right.
$3.99.
Shit. New Avengers.
Wolverine, it's 5.
Right. I'm looking at the top 10. Oh, here's the killer. Okay. All of Marvel's books in the top 10 are $3.99 books. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Avengers 5, 82,000. New Avengers number 4, 77,000. Batman number 703 came in at number 8 at 77,000. Secret Avengers number 5, 69,000, and Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, this analysis is so droll.
Well, this is what people want. They want long-form investigative journalism. We're giving people the data with no opinion attached to it, no snark. We're not trying to inject any sort of agenda into what we're saying here. We're just giving you the hard, raw facts and judge them for yourself.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Isn't this entertaining?
It's fucking entertaining as hell.
We fucking told you so.
I hope you're fucking watching Bendis, you fucking asshole. This is what you want everything to be like. God damn. I'll tell you one thing. The comics are bad now. The industry's bad now. If shit was like this everywhere all the time, it would just die.
It'd be boring. It'd be really, really boring.
Damn.
It'd be really, really boring. I'm sorry.
We all see the snark. We have to laugh to keep from crying because that's how bad things are in this industry. That's why we do what we do. If you want next week, if Bendis has his way, we'll just be here with razor blades, just cutting away for 30 minutes.
Can I tell you something? And there are a lot of viewers out there. The moment you said that, there were a ton of Bendis viewers, Bendis fans, who said, "Dear God, please, let those two snarky, smelly." Because we don't.
I shouldn't say cutting our wrists. Like we're just become cutters, like emo cutters.
Yeah, emo cutters.
We won't cut deep enough to kill.
And we won't bathe
so
either. We won't bathe either.
Yeah.
Well, we never bathe actually.
Yeah, at least I have hair to wash. You fat fuck. I'm sorry. That wasn't meant for anybody in particular. That was just me getting that out there. I think that person knows who I'm talking about, though.
So you see. The $3.99 price point is really hurting folks, and for all the folks who also were telling us, well, I'm going to buy my books no matter what. I'm going to buy. I mean, what has been the thing that we've been getting on the blog all the time? Oh man, I don't have that much money. I just don't have that kind of money to go out and buy these books. And the periodicals, the floppies, the regular books, they're kind of suffering for it.
Big time.
And then there's the issue, and this is what we were going to talk about before, the issue that DC then said we're going to come out and we're going to...
Like, all their new books were...
$2.99.
Well, yeah, but what we said in the last... I had a big rant on the one that you never saw the last rant about the 3 new Bat books that are going to be $3.99. Mm-hmm. DC and they're going to be 32 pages. They're just going to be throwing out everything was going to be $3.99.
Right.
But then New York... Comic-Con came around,
right,
and then a huge announcement, which everybody knows about, and everyone's very happy about, except for C.B. Cebulski, is that comics are all DC's entire line, $2.99.
$2.99 with 20 pages of artwork though, and
which
additional
is
ads.
Fine with me.
Which is fine. So then, and
I'll tell you why it's fine with me really quick, because storytelling has gotten so decompressed lately that if I can just get one less double fucking splash page, I'll be fine with that. It'll actually make the writers and creators tell stories better.
Right. No, the double splash page is getting really overused. It is getting really overused. So everyone was reporting about that, and then Marvel came out, and now as Jose mentioned, CB Cebulski took a shot on Twitter saying congrats to DC for their $2.99 announcement, but boo to
taking money out of the artist's pockets, or
like for
whatever.
Taking away 2 pages, which means less income for the artists, and so on. That's a two-sided thing. We talked about it on the podcast a couple weeks ago. You can listen to it. I didn't discuss it with Jose though. I discussed it with Todd Allen of Division and Rush. The thing though is, and reading and going back to my eyes glossing over, reading all this stuff. So Robot 6 did a nice little, piece.
Oh, well, maybe we should tell people that as soon as DC announced that, Marvel, an hour later, came out with their own press release, like, hey, wait a minute, guys. Yeah. Guess what? We're going to have $2.99 books, too. But not really. Because what Marvel said is that they were going to have all their new series starting in January would be $2.99.
All the new series.
They weren't going to roll back all their old series, but anything new was going to be $2.99. And
they said that, and that was also in part due to the success of the digital platform.
Right. But on top of that, that was the only thing that they said. There was a lot of speculation, like, well, would the second issues of those series go to $3.99?
Right.
So Marvel just. It seemed like they just pulled something out of their fucking ass, like they needed to, because DC made the huge announcement right before New York City Comic Con, and that was a talk of the convention. And Marvel's pathetic attempt to try to top them, and then the solicitations actually come out for January,
right?
And Marvel was fucking lying.
Well, I think lying is a strong term. You can call it that. You can call it being deceptive.
Is that hyperbolic?
You know what? Call a spade, because let's look at it right here. Robot 6 wrote a nice piece on this, saying what happened.
Sean T. Collins did.
On Robot 6.
On Robot 6.
So what happened to Marvel's new title price cuts anyway? Kudos to our eagle-eyed Robot 6 and spin-off compadre Graham McMillan for spotting something interesting and perhaps a bit frustrating in Marvel's January solicitations. On his Twitter, Graham noted, number of new 32-page Marvel books at $2.99 and new solicits, 3. Number of new 32-page Marvel books at $3.99 in new solicits, 7. What happened to price cuts?
They didn't exist to begin with.
Yeah, so if they're saying all the new books are going to debut at $2.99, you have a bunch of new books, and only 3 of them are actually $2.99.
So 30% of the new books are
$2.99. So, I mean, maybe lying can be interpreted as a hyperbolic term, but if a lie is the opposite of the truth, and this is the truth, yeah, they were lying. It's kind of a lie. Or an obfuscation, or you're trying to spin things in a certain way, and it's just not proving out that to be like that. The thing that really annoys me is you have all this posturing within the Marvel and DC offices, and they're all trying to one-up each other. It's turned into a fucking political thing.
But there's one side of that fight that's just always the worst. That's always hitting below the belt, and that's fucking Marvel.
I just wish they would come out and say, you know what? Kudos to DC. If that works for them, if that's their business model and it works, we'll give it a look. But right now, our business model is what we think works for us. If Dan Buckley came out and said, you know what? Hey, if that's what DC wants to do, but look at what they're doing. They're taking away money from their creators. They're giving you less product, for their money. Fine. Although, now that I think about it, the last time we got into this debate, remember when Marvel pushed their prices up to $3.99? Joe Quesada came out and said, we're giving you more product for your money. But what was that product that they were giving us?
They never gave it to you. There was...
It was reprinted material and wiki padding.
Yeah, and there was promises of doing, because they were trying to do what DC was doing at the time, which they hit big on, which was the backup features. And Marvel promised backup features in all the $3.99 books, and nothing ever came of it.
No.
Like
so
Spider-Man,
there were a couple.
There was a couple.
But it wasn't across the board like in DC. Right.
So Marvel all right, we can call it this. Marvel for the last year and a half, 2 years, maybe 3, is full of half-truths. Is pretty much what it is. They might not be lying, but they're not telling you the entire truth.
That's the truth. And to me, it's very disingenuous to have a company that you want to negotiate with in good faith, and they play these little word games with you, and I know personalities get into it, and I know a lot of times people say things in the heat of the moment. I really look at C.B. Cebulski's whole comment as, a heat of the moment thing, because I know later on he kind of started doing a backtrack because people were giving him shit on Twitter for it. And I really think C.B. Cebulski's a good guy and a nice guy, and generally a really classy guy. Although I really I follow C.B. more for his Itaku blog than anything. Because he's a foodie, and I dig that. But, really, just... like I said, call a spade a spade. You're two companies that have different business models. You think your model works. It's like the old, well, you can say, hey, if our competitor wants to drive their truck off a cliff, let them do it. And leave it at that. But don't, go then, oh, well, guess what? We're cutting off prices too. It's like that character in the Saturday Night Live skit the Kristen Wiig plays, that whenever somebody says something, she tries to one-up them.
Well, that's what Marvel is. That's all they've been doing lately.
And it's just really, I find that unnecessary. I really find it unnecessary.
I don't know how that press release saying that Marvel put out, how they thought that would even compare to DC dropping their line of books to $2.99. How could that even compare? Who the fuck okayed that? This has got to be.
Well, it's got to go through Dan. It's got to go through Dan Buckley. He's the chief.
But Dan Buckley was just spouting shit a month ago, saying how $3.99 is great and people love $3.99.
Well, I don't. It had to go through him. It had to go through him. You're the publisher.
Well, somebody should get fucking fired. I'm thinking it's about time that there needs to be some changes.
But see, here's the thing too. Now let's go back again to the argument about long-form journalism. In the end, who really cares?
Yeah.
Honestly, who really cares?
Hey, if I'm paying $1 less for comics, I'm fucking happy. So that's where the buck stops with me.
Right, and then if
Literally.
if Marvel wants to charge more for their books than they'll sell, then fine. You know, we've talked about this ad nauseum. If you want to bitch and moan about the prices, if you want the prices to go down, you speak with your dollar. Just don't buy it.
But people actually have been doing that.
Yeah,
and that's why things have gotten where they are.
But see, I don't think it's been so much that it's them not buying the books because they don't like them. They're buying the books because they just can't friggin' afford them. Because again, let's look at
that's what I'm saying though. I mean, they're cutting down on the amount of books that they're buying because they can't afford them.
Yeah, but Wolverine. How many people out there needed to have yet another Wolverine #1? You know, and of course, you know, Bendis is bulletproof right now. He's still in the top 10.
But these numbers, man, those numbers are nowhere comparable to where those numbers were.
No, they're not
about
comparable
a year or two
before.
ago.
But again, it's still.
People are getting sick of his shit. He just happens to make the shit floats, and that's why he's up here.
It's still, and it kills me that Secret Avengers is doesn't sell nearly.
And that's
as
the
much
best
as
one.
That really is the best one. Brubaker really writes a good Avengers story. And you know, kudos to Amazing Spider-Man. I really do hope that
Slott can turn stuff
when
around.
Slott comes in, he can, you know, ride this wave a bit and keep the book in the top 10 without tons of variant covers needing to be thrown at him. I'm at the point right now where I just don't care. I really don't care. I'm not even. I have what you call outrage fatigue. I have outrage fatigue.
I don't get that.
It's like the old, you know, after a while when that kid does something stupid, you know that just pisses you off. You're like, you know what? I don't care anymore. Do whatever you want. Just whatever. You know you know, you're a parent. You have a kid that is constantly acting up and giving you grief, and they're just doing shit to get your attention. And after a while, you're like, whatever. Just do whatever you want and let it be. And you know, I don't care anymore. Mm-hmm. That's the way I feel about Marvel right now. I just don't care anymore. Yeah. You know, if I like the book, I'll buy it. If I don't like the book, I won't buy it. I'm not going to care about what damn.
No, if you don't like the book, you're going to rip on it here with snarky reviews.
No, we're going to give clinical analytic
for every Marvel book.
Because it's like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. You know, if you care about it, you're kind of you're ripped on for being a snarky comic book nerd. Here we are in our little fortress of solitude with our comic books behind us. We're a couple of unwashed comic book guys complaining about the industry. You know, why don't we just shut up and buy your comic books.
Even though that we've been proven time and time again this year alone how correct we are. Stings a little bit, doesn't it?
I don't know. A prophet is unwelcome in his hometown. You know that? I don't care.
But to segue into one of our announcements, one person who was very happy about the price drop at DC was the writer of American Vampire, Scott Snyder. Because we actually had a discussion on the blog a little bit with comments, an email from Scott Snyder, when I was talking about American Vampire was losing the backup feature, but it was still going to be $3.99.
Right.
And then Scott Snyder, you know, replied to us, and this was months ago, saying how, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. I wrote, the team working on American Vampire wants to keep it at $2.99, but he said that's where DC is moving their line to, right. $3.99. So when the price drop came out on Twitter, Scott Snyder said, we're very thankful, you know, for this, and it's going to be $2.99. This is a great move and stuff like that. And so something we've been sitting on for about a month that we haven't had time to do or get to is that because of that exchange we had for Scott Snyder was actually very gracious and nice enough to send us 5 copies of American Vampire, or 1 copy each of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, signed by himself, Scott Snyder. And he also sent 2 American Vampire promotional posters
that he signed.
That he also signed. So...
Oh, but wait. How can people in the CCW Nation get those?
Okay, well, by now, you would have read on the blog that there's going to be some changes going on the CCW blog. Elliot is primarily on his Geek to Me blog, And I am actually going to be moving to a brand new blog that I'm starting up with somebody, and that's where all of my content and all my normal posts for CCW will be moving to. And Elliot came up with a great idea to help me out in the start of my new blog. That we're gonna have the American Vampire contest on my new blog. And it's gonna be co-sponsored by CCW since I'm still part of CCW.
And just so you know, the CCW is still going. It's by no means are we shutting down the thingy.
We're gonna try to figure out something to do with the blog. The blog will still be going, but the videos will still be coming, hopefully on a more regular basis and weekly. If not weekly, then bi-weekly. But there's still gonna be videos. So the videos don't start killing yourselves and burning shit down because you're all in a rage about it.
What this is actually this is an opportunity for Jose to kind of expand. I know a lot of you guys go to the CCW TV blog because you like to interact with Jose, and now this is going to be a chance for Jose to do some stuff on his own that he can build it from the ground up and you know make more of a presence for him. So just so you know, I am fully behind Jose doing this, and this is something that I'm very pleased to hear that he is.
And I think you.
I'm very pleased to hear that.
I think you enough yesterday for it. I'm not going to do it on camera. I have a breath to hold. But anyway, so to hear about the contest, to hear about what's going on, we'll still have the link to the CCW blog on this YouTube video.
But go to the blog.
But you'll go to the blog and you'll read my post, and then from there I have links embedded to the new blog. And then you just 2 clicks. That's all you do. You go from this video, CCW blog, to the new blog. And that's where the contest is. And you will hear the rules about the contest there. I'm about 95% sure of what I want to do to give out these books. And it's gonna... Well, this will probably go up maybe a couple days before Halloween. And we kind of thought that it'd be best if the American Vampire contest went on during Halloween.
Yeah, that'd be
so
cool.
That's what's going on with that. So, you know... Free comics signed by Scott Snyder. What more do you want?
Are you gonna do a podcast too?
Yes. That's how unprofessional it is. Seriously, the amount of work that has been going on in the last couple of weeks, just trying to iron shit out. It's like,
It's a lot.
Thank you for bringing that up. I'm also going to be besides doing these videos every week, I'm also going to be doing a podcast with the new blog that I'm going to be at. It'll be a weekly podcast too, and we're going to take a couple episodes to get up and running. But then I'm sure we'll have guests, like maybe this guy, because we're going to need professionals. Well, semi-professionals.
Can you get Morgan Freeman? I got Morgan Freeman.
I don't want Morgan Freeman. I don't need that.
Hey Morgan, call his podcast when it's ready.
Well, see, this is gonna be the best thing about it is that these are gonna be pre-recorded podcasts. They're actually professional. They're gonna be professional podcasts.
You're gonna pull out the professional card.
Yes, they're gonna sound professional. They're gonna be edited professional, but something that we will be announcing on the blog once we get stuff ironed out is that we might be doing a live podcast once a month.
That'd be cool.
Where people would be able to call in, except for Morgan Freeman. He's not welcome. So there's plenty of new stuff going on, but so this is kind of exciting stuff. That's why, videos been taking a while to get up, but hopefully from here on out we'll get stuff ironed out and stuff will be coming out quicker, and everybody wins.
Everybody wins. There's going to be a lot more out there, not less, more.
Yes.
And then the CCW TV blog is going to take kind of a different form. I've had some ideas on things that we can do with it, but until then, it's just you're going to have another cool place to hang out with on the internet. You'll be able to hang out with Jose, check him out. You guys, a lot of you guys come over to Geek to Me. I've been having contests going there too. Check that out. And
we're always going to be on Twitter.
Always going to be on Twitter. And the CCW TV blog will keep going once I figure out a good way of making it just worth everyone's time. I have an idea. But that will, I'm just going to wait right now. So it's some exciting times, some changes, things.
Industry's changing, the blog's changing,
yeah.
Everything's getting better, maybe.
Maybe
I should take off my rosy tinted glasses. Because maybe, you never know, 3 months from now, I might fucking fall on my face on the blog.
I gotta tell you, I really do hope that you have a nurse on hand for you on your side because.
Well, my new podcast is going to be giving me health insurance, so I think I have a nurse on 24-hour call.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
It's a pretty sweet gig.
Because seriously, you're going to need it. If you're not going to have me to keep you in check.
Yeah.
It's going to be like I can picture just one long expletive-ridden rant as a podcast. That's going to be fucking
cool.
For
an hour, yeah.
That'd be cool. I'm tuning in.
All right.
All right. So that's it. That's what we've got. And just so you know, things will be changing as they go. And there'll be some slight changes here on CCW, but to be honest with you, it's just gotten to the point where, it's hard for us to crank out 3-4 episodes a week. It's really difficult to do. It's just, and as my plate gets full and as Jose's plate gets full, something's got to give somewhere. So it's not that we're not going to do these videos anymore.
It's kind of like, Nimoy and Shatner getting together. It's so hard to get those two together.
It's gotta be
that's kind of what
special.
it's becoming to.
Yeah, you got to make it a special occasion.
I mean, when we first started, it was kind of like C-3PO and R2-D2. And where
not even
inseparable.
Not even
inseparable.
Inseparable. That's true. I was gonna say it was more like Buck Rogers and Tweety. Really bad.
Yeah. And then it became C-3PO and R2-D2, and now it's Shatner and Nimoy. So where we go from here, who knows?
Who knows? Well, no, it's pretty obvious who I am.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm. I don't have the mutton chops anymore. Anything else?
Nope.
Nope.
Long enough.
Cool.
Half hour. Let's go.
Anyway, congratulations, Jose.
Oh, thank you, Elliot. That's very nice of you to say.
I'm thrilled to see what's going on.
Me too.
Until next time, and there will be a next time. This has been Elliot Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. We'll see you again soon.